Movie review. Physical media. Magical Pentagon. Booyah! Tippy tie my damies and welcome to episode 44. Rudely interrupted 44. I'm on 44 now. 44 episodes. Who'da thunk? Not me. Definitely not my mom. I told her about it and she's like, you won't make it past 4. And I was like, well, now I'm at 44, you old bitch. So what's up now? We haven't talked for a few days. She's mad at me. But, Pieces. Oh my lord. This movie is fucking great. You know, I don't know if it hit me before, but it definitely hit me this time. That the killer in this son of a bitch, he gets triggered, you know, by the big mirrored glass fucking breaking. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, man. Snap, that reminds me of when I like murdered my mom. The whole time he's killing these bitches and he's taking pieces like and it's like he's trying to put his mom back together. That is some weird twisted shit, you know? And in this lovely Grindhouse 3-disc set with three disc deluxe edition, 2 Blu-rays and a CD. So you can cruise around like a weirdo listening to an old slasher soundtrack, which guilty I've done. I enjoy it every second of it. Talking about blowing people's minds, like, what the fuck are you listening to? And then you just go, none of your business, stay in your lane, bro. But really stay in your lane, because I'm driving down the road and you're kind of veering, and it turns out, what do you know? It's an old person. That's a totally different fucking video. But yeah, let's take a look in here. You know, I'll show off some of this shit. So here's the soundtrack. You don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Pieces, yeah. And it's cool, you know, it's just got the whole dealio going on here, the whole different dealios of the soundtracks, the different bits and pieces of the score. It's got a great classic score, you know. It's just got that classic score sound that you know, I mean, Fabio Frizee is on it. That's like one of those things where it's like, that's what lends it to that Italian, even though Spanish horror film. Yeah, you know, and it's like got it's got a little booklet in there. It says all kinds of stuff. A lovely little set from Grindhouse and everything. Lots of really cool special features. It's got a feature-length documentary with a bunch of interviews of a bunch of people like Larry Cohen and Frank Henenlotter, Bill Lustig, and shit like that, called 42nd Street Memories. You know, a bunch of exploitation icons. You know, it's a bunch of that grindhousey type shit. You know, a bunch of the directors and stuff that did that odd stuff that you would find you'd be like, oh man, you see this crazy movie, you know, and all that kind of shit. And yeah, it's like really cool. It's got like a little poster, I think, too, somewhere. I might already have it somewhere else. Ooh. But yeah, you know, and this movie is by one, like, I was going to do it. I got to IMDb and find out, like, more J.P. Simon movies, because Slugs, one of my all-time favorite nostalgic fucking movies. Just, I love that fucking movie. I'd already reviewed that, and, God, I love that movie. And then, like, Cthulhu Mansion, like, I remember renting that, and I'm like, dude, it stuck with me, and forever it was hard to find. And then finally, I think Vinegar Syndrome or somebody like finally released a Blu-ray copy of it where it's like readily available to people, and I was like, yes, I've been wanting this movie forever. Boom! And I was able to snag that up. But like Pieces was one I actually stumbled across in one of those I know exactly which set it is. It was like one of those cheap like 4 horror movies, you know, like cheap little sets, and had four almost random fucking horror movies on it and everything, and it was like $5. You know, one of those cheap little multi-movie sets that us collectors, it's kind of like our guilty pleasure. It's like being a metalhead and listening to hair and loving hair metal. That's what being like a horror movie fan collector of like shit like this, but then also seeing one of those cheesy little like, hey man, here's like 500 fucking movies for like, I don't know, 650. You down? And it's like the quality is always like poor, but you're like, oh, come on. And I first saw pieces in one of those sets. A lot of these classic ones I actually saw, like House by the Cemetery and shit like that. I saw in like those weird little sets like that. But I'm like really glad I picked up those sets because these movies are fucking like horror classics and like awesome. And before I forget, see, look at that. My mustache is so long, it looks like if I don't move my lips very much, it looks like I'm just sitting here very, very still. It's brought to you by Magical Pizza Gummies. Yes, you heard me right. You're like, those sound like three things that don't go together. Well, guess what? You would be fucking wrong, you idiot. Because magical and pizza and gummies, it's like the axis of flavor. Let me see here. Magical, yes. Gummy, yes. I'm not getting the pepperoni. Oh. There's strawberry, orange, green apple, grape, blue raspberry. And I guess the green apple and blue raspberry has a... Oh no. All of them have a... This is interesting. Okay. Whoever makes these really up their game. Like this one's an orange. But you see the little crust down there? You see how it's different? Cream soda crust. Speechless. That never happens. But Ma P gum. At your local $1.25 tree. Go pick yourself up some magical pizza gummies. Why not? It's a weird fucking candy, dude. I'm gonna do weird shit. But okay, this fucking movie, dude. It is a total grindhouse classic. I mean, shit, man. Just cut like the gore and the effects are great. And this also comes with two versions of the film. There's the pieces, the original unrated US theatrical version presented in English. And there's Mil Gritos Tiene la Noche, which is the original uncensored director's cut presented in Spanish with the original score. I went with the English version. I've watched both versions. I've watched all the special features on it. It's pretty awesome. But I went with the US one because I didn't feel like reading the movie this time. That's okay. That's okay. There's only 5 more minutes in the other one, in the uncensored director's cut. But like, you know, next time I watch it, I probably will end up watching the Spanish version just because it's like, it's cool when you got a different version. You can just kind of hop back and forth. You don't have to stick with the same one every time. But like, I mean, Linda Day in this, you know, just there is that classic bastard. It's like, you gotta love these fucking older movies. It's just so great. And it's just, I don't know, it starts off with that kid. It's like, I totally get where the kid's coming from because, like, you know, my disposition when I was 8 or 9 years old, if my mom would have came in my room and threw my naked lady puzzle around and started getting all aggro, she's getting a fucking axe, you know, and that's just me. So I think that a lot of 8 and 9-year-old boys who have naked lady puzzles, like, we all saw that and we're like, I get you. I get where you're coming from, buddy. Moms just need to like chill on the naked lady puzzles, you know, or else later on in life we're gonna be making our own out of real ladies. Like I really like the gore effects with the chainsaw and everything. Like, when he cuts that one bitch in half, it's like, it's so great when it just shows it. It's like, that's one of the great things about these practical effects back in the day. A lot of these practical effects, they didn't have a system like they started having later on. Especially like if you go over to Europe, you know, Spain, and even Italy. Italy maybe a little more like over time because they were doing a lot of it, but still, it wasn't like in America where they started streamlining it. Where it's like, okay, this is how we do this effect, and this is how we're going to do it. Especially like in the '80s when it started getting to like werewolf effects. When you're changing, so you know the bladders that were like condoms that they would pump air into and shit like that. You know, they started developing a real system. You know, especially like Tom Savini and everybody else are like that. But like over in Europe, it's like they kind of just had to figure it out a lot, you know. And sometimes it's like they might do something one way in one movie, but they'll do it a little different in a different one, just to kind of whatever ends up getting the best like cool effect. And this one has like just really great practical effects, you know. And it's just and it's a totally wild story if you think about it, you know. It's like, oh man, my daddy isn't home, my mom's just kind of like pissed off at him and taking it out on me. And I honestly I don't get where he got the puzzle anyway, but I just think it's funny that it's like he just chops his mom up, says, big guy did it, and everybody's just like, oh well, here's this bloody fucking kid, and you must be telling the truth, he's just a kid. And look what happens. Kids are evil little shits. Don't trust a goddamn word that comes out of their lying mouths, okay? No matter what they say. If they say, I love you, ground them. There's something going on. There's something going on, okay? It's a conspiracy. Don't believe it. But, and what's his fuck? Christopher George, who is like, you know, what was it? City of the Living Dead. Yeah, he was in City of the Living Dead, right? And he's up in this. It's like, it's weird because it was made in both Boston and Spain. The director's Spanish, and it's a Spain production ship, but it's got a lot of like Italian element in it, which I think really lends it to a lot of the look and the feel. Of course, I'm very decently versed in Italian horror from like back in the day, you know, 70s, 80s, up in the 90s, but less Spanish horror. And there was a lot of Spanish horror, and that is definitely like something I need to dive more deeper into at some point. But like, I mean, if you love just like really great practical effects, gore, like actually a really solid plot. I mean, it's a great storyline. I like what it revolves around. It's like actually a really good, solid setup for, you know, all the craziness in the movie. And you just watch this, man. And if you have seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that some of you are watching this also own this little dealio, you know? And what else is there to say? It's just, if you're a fan, like, if you're a fan of like the old 80s like horror shit, you know, especially like Fulci and stuff like that, and older Argento and just other little shit, you're definitely gonna love Pieces. And it's from a director who really does really solid shit. He knows how to put together a movie. There's just goofy shit, like all of a sudden out of nowhere there's a karate guy who's like a kung fu instructor, and he's like about ready to kick the shit out of Linda Day, and she just kicks him in the nuts. And then it's just like the overdub of what he says is some of the most ridiculous shit ever, where it's like, obviously that's what an Asian man would say. It's like the 80s, brah, the 80s. It's wild. I'm sure nowadays that would not make it past anything. They would be like, oh no, you're gonna survive. And it's like, well, it's ridiculous, so who really cares? But yeah, like, definitely, if you're a fan of shit like I said, like Fulci and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just a lot of that kind of style of grindhousey stuff, except I would say more like it's gorier and stuff than, of course, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's got that same grindhousey type feel. You know, it's really it's really great. It's almost like it's definitely giallo-esque, but way more fuckered up than like a classic slasher, just because of content and just everything. The ending, I still don't get why the corpse ripped his dick off or something, that, or smashed his nuts or whatever. That was kind of weird, but it's kind of like, you get to that point and it's like, whatever, dude, I'm for it, whatever, go. Next episode, episode 45, will be a to be or not to be, but yeah, definitely to be episode, where I will be doing the incomparable, the one and only. There is no comparison. There is no comparadaughter. Lamageddon, which they need to release on physical media because I want to own that some bitch. But until then, it'll be on Tubi, and it's great because that will be my next episode. So tune in next time, episode 45, to be or not to be, but yeah, definitely to be. Reviewedly Interrupted, Lamageddon, a schlock classic. I love this movie, and my girlfriend absolutely adores the movie. I keep telling her, though, we will never adopt a space llama because their laser eyes are just going to fuck everything up. Although, if our soup is too cold, we'll never have to worry about it again because laser-eyed llama will heat our soup for us out of love. No, he won't. He will burn a hole through the middle of our heads with his laser eyes because space llamas are also evil. That's one thing you got to remember. They may look cute, but 100% evil. So don't let that cute little shit get you. You got pieces, man. I'll have to check and, like, of course, if there's a link to Tubi, if it's on Tubi, I will, of course, put the link. Go watch this movie. Have fun with it. It is a fun, gore, fucking classic. If you're into that shit, if that's your type of horror and you like, definitely watch it, you know? And, of course, if you've already seen it and you love it, why are you watching this? Go fucking watch Pieces. It's a classic. I love this movie. I love this director. I love that Grindhouse came out with this set because this is, I love this set. And I've already seen the special features, but I'm starting to get back into where I want to watch special features again. So, oh Lord, here we go. But yeah, signed your pity on the running kind. Did it hard and fast. Got in there, got out, and signed your pity on the running kind. So, this has been episode 44 of Revealing Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. Pieces. Yeah. Wadata. Capachow. Until next time, my little. I am so tired. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I don't even know what's going on. I know the pieces. All right. So, I'll see you next time. This has been me doing this about that and things, pieces of things and ladies and people and Booyah!